September 1984. A woman in orange robes walks into a salad bar in the Dalles, Oregon. She smiles at the cashier, waits for her to turn, then drizzles a colored liquid over the lettuce. By nightfall, 751 Americans are hospitalized, vomiting and terrified. It's the largest bioterror attack in U.S. history. But this isn't about terror. It's about stealing an election. The woman works for a cult that's already hijacked 2 American cities, imported 4,000 homeless strangers to flood ballot boxes, and armed themselves with Uzi submachine guns. Their leader owns 93 Rolls-Royces and has never spoken in public. Their endgame? Hijack an entire Oregon count. And the most insane part? The FBI has no idea it's happening. How did a guru orchestrate this coup on American soil? And what finally brought his empire crashing down? June 1981. Ma Anand Sheila, 31, steps off a plane in Oregon. The petite Indian woman in orange robes is personal secretary to Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, a charismatic guru fleeing controversy in India. She's scouting a new home for their followers. Weeks later, she finds it. A 64,000-acre cattle ranch in the Oregon high desert. She buys it under a shell corporation before locals understand what's happening. And for a staggering price of $5.75 million in cash. 2 months later, the first caravans of orange-clad disciples roll into the sleepy ranch land. They pitch tents, then pour concrete. Oregon's land use laws are strict, designed to prevent exactly this. But Sheila has found the loophole. Instead of asking permission, they create their own reality. They hold a vote among themselves and incorporate a brand new city, Rajneeshpuram. In May 1982, 154 Rajneeshi residents vote unanimously to make it official. A private ranch becomes an incorporated city, with its own mayor, police force, and public treasury tapping state funds. A legal coup in broad daylight. By creating a city from nothing, the Rajneeshis now wield government powers. They pass local ordinances, build without outside oversight, and form a police force. They call it the Peace Force. Many are ex-military recruits fiercely loyal to the Bhagwan. They start stockpiling weapons. Oregonians dismiss Rajneeshpuram as just another weird commune. The Bhagwan remains silent, appearing only in daily drives past his cheering disciples, seated in one of his growing collection of Rolls-Royces. He'll eventually own 93 of them, more than any billionaire CEO. Behind the scenes, Sheila pulls levers at a furious pace. She knows their greatest enemy, the Oregon legal system. If the state finds Rajneeshpuram illegal, the dream ends. By late 1982, alarm bells ring in Salem. Oregon's Attorney General Dave Frohnmeyer argues this fusion of religion and government violates the Constitution. Land use watchdogs sue, claiming Rajneeshpuram breaks every zoning law on the books. By 1983, the state cuts off the new city's funding and services. Rajneeshpuram is officially under siege, not with bullets, but with court injunctions. But Sheila doesn't flinch. They have a plan B. Take over a city that already exists. Just south of the ranch lies Antelope, with a population of 75 people. Most residents are retirees who figured they'd live out their days in peace. One by one, Rajneeshi newcomers move into Antelope, buying up property. They register to vote and run for the town council. The locals panic, but they're outnumbered. The Rajneeshis win an election, seize control of Antelope's government, and change the town's name to Rajneesh. Residents wake up to find their hometown renamed after a cult leader. By 1984, Bhagwan and Sheila rule 2 cities, Rajneeshpuram and Antelope. But they want more. The goal is an entire county. Wasco County, Oregon is huge and sparsely populated, and its government seats are ripe for taking. If the Rajneeshis win just a couple of key county elections, they'll control zoning, law enforcement, and their fate. No governor or attorney general could touch them. Opposition groups spring up with fierce names like 1,000 Friends of Oregon. They plaster signs on farmhouse gates. Terrorist cult out. Neighbors who barely spoke now unite against the common threat in red clothes. The Oregon National Guard quietly prepares contingency plans. Rajneeshpuram is an island of modern infrastructure, dams, electricity, an airstrip, luxury homes in the middle of nowhere. Outside its borders, tension boils. Inside, Sheila is about to make a move so audacious it will push Oregon to the brink. How do you win when the entire state wants you gone? And what weapon could possibly turn the tide when lawyers, governors, and armed citizens all stand against you? 1983. Rajneeshpuram grows from muddy tents to a bustling mini-metropolis. 7,000 residents now live on the ranch, all loyal to the Bhagwan. They've built apartments, malls, restaurants, and a small airport with 2 turboprop airliners on a makeshift runway. The outside world hasn't let up its assault. That summer, a bomb detonates at the Rajneeshis Hotel in Portland, planted by a radical militant group. No one is killed, but it shatters any illusion of safety. At a commune meeting, Sheila holds up a shard of blasted glass. The bigots out there want to destroy us. We will not be victims. The crowd roars. From now on, they won't just rely on lawyers. They'll rely on firepower. The Rajneeshpuram Peace Force imports crates of weapons, Israeli Galil rifles, .357 Magnums, and Uzis. On the firing range, orange-robed Sannyasins practice sniper shots on silhouette targets. They patrol the city perimeter day and night, radios crackling. The commune's carpenters build watchtowers. Everyone is on edge, inside and outside the ranch. Sheila's public statements grow more combative. When asked about local fears of Rajneeshis taking over their towns, she smirks. What can I say? Tough titties. On live TV, she calls Oregon's Attorney General a bag of dirt. To her followers, Sheila's brazenness is thrilling, their lioness defending the master. To everyone else, it's gasoline on a bonfire. By early 1984, the conflict is white hot. Rural Oregonians form armed vigilance committees. Farmers polish their rifles. The governor is deeply concerned. State police and local sheriffs quietly drill for a possible standoff with the Rajneesh forces. Inside the commune, Sheila doubles down. They establish a multi-layered surveillance operation, every phone line tapped and every council meeting bugged. Hidden microphones sprout in offices and even in the Bhagwan's own home. Unbeknownst to him, Sheila listens to all of his private conversations, a fact that will become critical. The guru remains in silent meditation, ostensibly aloof from these preparations. But each day, he still rolls out in one of his Rolls-Royces, acknowledging his cheering devotees, a spiritual leader at the helm of what's looking more like a cult paramilitary. The big showdown everyone expects, a Waco-style armed siege, hasn't happened yet. The battlefield is about to shift to an arena America thought was sacrosanct, the ballot box. With Wasco County elections only months away, Sheila sees the ultimate endgame. Bullets and bombs are messy. Votes are the stealth weapon that could hand them Oregon. Spring 1984. Sheila unveils the Share a Home program. In a press conference, she looks straight into the cameras and invites all homeless people of America to come to Rajneeshpuram for food and shelter. Buses are en route to big cities to pick them up. On its face, it sounds like charity. Nobody is fooled. Journalists and Oregon officials immediately suspect the truth. Sheila is importing a voting bloc. Each new homeless arrival will be a registered Rajneeshi voter in Wasco County, potentially thousands of them. An election hack at a scale nobody saw coming. By summer, the highways leading to Rajneeshpuram are choked with old Greyhound buses. The commune welcomes hundreds of homeless individuals with open arms and TV cameras rolling. Many haven't had a hot meal or a roof in months. They're given baths, clean clothes, and promises of belonging. Sheila beams for the news crews. "We're expanding our family." Behind closed doors, she and her lieutenants keep a ledger of exactly how many new voters they can sway. The target is simple: overwhelm the county election. It might have worked if not for what happens next. As the influx grows, Rajneeshpuram buckles under the weight of its new guests. By fall, over 4,000 homeless people are camping in and around the city. The idealistic plan turns chaotic. Fistfights break out in food lines. Longtime sannyasins complain that the newcomers are harassing women and starting drunken brawls. Rumors spread that Sheila's team is secretly drugging some of the troublesome homeless with Haldol-laced beer to keep them docile. Oregon newspapers howl that the cult is gaming the election and demand the state intervene. Under pressure, Oregon's officials scramble. They discover an old law allowing same-day voter registration, a loophole that in theory lets these new arrivals vote immediately. Panicked, the state legislature convenes an emergency session to slam that loophole shut before Election Day. Meanwhile, the media turns the homeless import scheme into a national scandal, dubbing it the Share a Home scam. Sensing the heat, Sheila abruptly orders that many of the homeless be kicked out. In the dead of night, bewildered men and women are herded back onto buses and dropped off in cities like Portland and the Dalles, abandoned when they're no longer useful. The grand plan is falling apart. By late October 1984, Rajneeshpuram's attempt to hack the election seems headed for failure. Many of the homeless never registered to vote amid the chaos. County officials are onto every trick. Sheila is cornered. Her voters might not carry the day, so she makes a fateful decision. If she can't win the vote, she'll make sure her opponents lose it. In a tense midnight meeting, Sheila huddles with her most loyal followers, a tight circle of true believers who will do anything for her. On a whiteboard, she draws a crude outline of a salad bar and circles it in red marker. No voters, no problem. She is planning one of the biggest operations in U.S. history, the Project Salsa. What could a salad bar possibly have to do with stealing an election? And how far is Sheila willing to go to seize control of an entire county? September 1984. A pungent odor of chili and vinegar wafts through a secret lab in Rajneeshpuram. Weeks before the election. Inside this makeshift biolab, cult members wearing aprons carefully stir bubbling cultures of bacteria. They've been experimenting for months under Sheila's orders, growing a potent strain of salmonella. The plan is simple. Make the voters of Wasco County too sick to vote. They start small. 2 county commissioners visit Rajneeshpuram for a routine meeting. Loyal Rajneesh medical staff serve them water laced with salmonella culture. Both officials are hospitalized with severe food poisoning, bewildered by what hit them. It's the perfect test, and it emboldens Sheila's team. Now they escalate to phase 2. Late September. On the Dalles, Oregon County's largest city, is about to happen an invisible attack. Unusual things start happening. Salad bar fixings taste off in a dozen restaurants. Diners fall ill en masse. Within days, the town's clinics and hospitals overflow. Patients double over with vomiting, diarrhea, and fever, classic signs of food poisoning. At first, health inspectors think it's just a hygiene issue or a freak contamination. But the cases keep mounting. Dozens, then hundreds fall ill. Over 750 people in total are infected, from restaurant patrons to waitresses to a town judge. It is the largest bioterror attack in U.S. history. But in the moment, it just feels like chaos. Paramedics race to treat the elderly and frail. Rumors spread of tainted salsa or a killer flu. No one can pinpoint the source. Inside Rajneeshpuram, Sheila watches the news reports with a cold smile. The plan is working. By keeping voters bedridden, she hopes to cripple turnout in anti-Rajneesh areas. It's an unseen attack, leaving no fingerprints, or so she thinks. By early October, Wasco County's election is around the corner, and many residents of the Dalles are still recovering. Quietly, Rajneeshi operatives rejoice, expecting record-low voter turnout outside the ranch. But on Election Day 1984, reality flips the script. Rather than staying home, outraged locals show up at the polls in droves. Suspicion, though not yet proof, has begun to fall on the Rajneesh cult for the poisonings. County citizens are furious. They feel violated and terrified, and they respond with defiance. Sick or not, they vote. And the results? A landslide against the Rajneeshi candidates. Every single cult-backed politician loses. The Bhagwan's dream of political control vanishes in a humiliating defeat. For Sheila, it's a catastrophe. All her schemes, the sham city, the busing of homeless, the covert poisoning of innocents, have failed to secure the power she craved. Worse, whispers about wrongdoing are growing. Federal investigators and Oregon State Police have begun quietly probing the commune's activities, though they haven't yet uncovered proof of the bio-attack. Inside Rajneeshpuram, paranoia spikes. Sheila starts scanning for traitors among her ranks. If anyone talks, if anyone defects, the whole criminal enterprise could unravel. The first cracks appear from within. The Bhagwan himself, having remained eerily quiet through all of this, begins to stir. In the months after the election, Rajneesh breaks his silence. He starts speaking to reporters and giving public discourses again, and what he says sends shockwaves through the commune. He hints that some of his closest aides may have gone rogue. He subtly questions decisions made in his name while he was in silence. To the public, he still denies any knowledge of crimes. But behind closed doors, the rift between Bhagwan and Sheila is turning into an abyss. Early 1985. Tensions inside Rajneeshpuram reach a boiling point. Sheila has ruled like an empress, but now her king is wavering. Devotees split into camps, Team Bhagwan versus Team Sheila, though no one says it aloud. Spying and counter-spying intensify. Guns that were meant to intimidate outsiders are now pointed inward in distrust. Sheila feels Bhagwan's favor slipping away, and it terrifies her. She knows the guru could throw her to the wolves to save himself. What happens when the mastermind behind America's first bioterror attack realizes her own leader is turning against her? And what secrets will emerge when the empire finally collapses from within? September 13th, 1985. Ma Anand Sheila knows something the FBI doesn't. Her time is up, but not because of the salad bars, and not because of the wiretaps. It's because her own guru is about to throw her to the wolves. Inside Rajneeshpuram's lavish commune house, she moves fast, documents shredded, diamonds pocketed, and cash bundled into bags. 20 of her closest aides gather in secret, whispering in hallways, glancing over shoulders. These are the people who know where the bodies are buried, figuratively, and some investigators will later suspect, literally. No goodbyes and no ceremony. By midnight, 2 planes lift off from the commune's private airstrip. By sunrise, America's most dangerous woman has vanished into Europe. The news hits Rajneeshpuram like an earthquake. Followers who worshipped Sheila as the Bhagwan's voice wake up to find their leader gone. But here's the twist no one saw coming. The Bhagwan doesn't stay silent. For years, this man spoke to no one. Not the press, not his followers, and not the investigators. He communicated only through Sheila, his voice, his enforcer, his shield. Now, with her gone, he calls a press conference, his first public statement in 4 years. What he says next will shatter the cult, expose a criminal conspiracy, and raise a question investigators will debate for decades. Was he the mastermind, or the most convincing victim in American criminal history? Standing before cameras, the guru speaks in calm, measured tones. He claims Sheila ran a fascist state inside the commune while he remained in silent meditation, oblivious. He claims she wiretapped every building, including his own bedroom. He claims she poisoned local officials, tried to murder his personal physician with a lethal injection, and plotted assassinations against U.S. attorneys. The deluge of accusations is stunning. Many match whispered rumors that had circulated for months. For the first time, the full extent of the Rajneesh cult's secret operations comes to light, confirmed by the cult leader himself. The public is stunned, but investigators are focused on a different question. If Bhagwan knew all this, why is he only talking now that Sheila has fled? Within 48 hours, Oregon's Attorney General Dave Frohnmayer and federal investigators form a joint task force. State police, FBI agents, and U.S. Marshals descend on Rajneeshpuram with search warrants. What they find will become evidence in one of the strangest criminal cases in American history. In a hidden laboratory on the ranch, vials of salmonella bacteria, genetically identical to the strain that sickened 751 people in the Dalles. In a fortified basement, an armory of semi-automatic weapons, enough to outfit a militia. In Sheila's private office, tens of thousands of hours of secret audio recordings from the bugging operation that spanned every corner of the commune. And in a locked safe, a handwritten hit list, names of enemies marked for assassination, including one that makes prosecutors' blood run cold, Charles Turner, the U.S. Attorney for Oregon. The same man now holding those warrants, the same man who will prosecute this case. 6,000 miles away, German police find Sheila relaxing at a hotel bar. She doesn't run, she doesn't resist. She smiles, almost like she expected this. Her accomplices are rounded up across Europe within days. By early 1986, Ma Anand Sheila is back on U.S. soil in handcuffs, facing charges that could put her away for life: attempted murder, assault, product tampering, illegal wiretapping, and immigration fraud. Rather than fight, she cuts a deal. Sheila and her chief operatives plead no contest to the major charges. In July 1986, a federal judge stacks multiple 20-year sentences on top of each other. A symbolic punishment for the full scope of her crimes. Now here's where this story becomes infuriating. Those sentences run concurrently. The mastermind of America's first bioterror attack, the woman who poisoned 751 innocent people, who bugged an entire city, who kept a literal assassination list, she serves 29 months. In late 1988, Ma Anand Sheila walks out of a minimum security federal prison, boards a plane to Switzerland, and vanishes into a quiet life running a care home for the elderly. She's never publicly apologized. she's never shown remorse. In interviews decades later, she'll flash that same defiant smile and say, "I protected my people. I have no regrets." Back in Oregon, Rajneeshpuram is imploding. With Sheila gone and most of the commune leadership either arrested or under investigation, the once thriving city in the desert falls into chaos. Many of the 7,000 followers pack their belongings and leave, sensing the dream has died. Those who remain watch helplessly as federal agents comb through their utopia, cataloging evidence of betrayal. The famous Rolls-Royce collection, all 93 vehicles, is impounded and later auctioned off to the highest bidders. But there's still one piece of unfinished business. The FBI doesn't believe Bhagwan's "I knew nothing" defense. They think it's exactly that, a carefully rehearsed story, crafted the moment Sheila fled. By late October 1985, a federal grand jury secretly indicts the guru on immigration charges, arranging sham marriages for foreign disciples, lying on visa applications. The charges are smaller than Sheila's, but they're enough. The guru gets a tip that the net is closing. And so the man who owned 93 Rolls-Royces, who never lifted a finger in public, who claimed to be above worldly concerns, does something no one expected. He runs. October 28th, 1985. Charlotte, North Carolina. Under the cover of darkness, 2 chartered Learjets from Oregon touch down at a private airstrip for refueling. Their flight plan lists Bermuda as the final destination, safely outside U.S. jurisdiction, beyond the reach of federal warrants. On board the lead jet sits Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, wearing not his trademark flowing robes, but a dark tracksuit and oversized sunglasses. He looks less like a spiritual master and more like a fugitive. In the cargo hold, jewelry, bundled cash and gemstones, an estimated $1 million, hastily gathered for a one-way escape. The plan is simple. Refuel in Charlotte, take off before anyone notices, and disappear into the Caribbean. But U.S. Marshals have been tracking the planes since Oregon. As the jets prepare for departure, headlights blaze across the dark tarmac. A convoy of federal vehicles, marshals, FBI agents, and local police surrounds the aircraft from every angle. Agents flood out with weapons drawn, shouting orders to freeze. One jet's engines spool up in a desperate, futile attempt to taxi toward the runway. A federal officer plants himself directly in its path, pistol raised at the cockpit. The pilots cut the engines. Inside the cabin, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh offers no resistance. The man who built an empire on silence, who inspired thousands to abandon their careers and families, who amassed more Rolls-Royces than any billionaire CEO, sits motionless as marshals climb aboard and place him in handcuffs. His final escape attempt is over in seconds. The arrest of the Rolls-Royce guru makes headlines worldwide. After years of legal maneuvering, the U.S. government finally has him. In Oregon, the few Rajneeshpuram residents still remaining watch the news coverage in tears. Some of disbelief, some of relief. Their Bhagwan, who promised them a new world free from suffering, is now wearing a county jail jumpsuit. But his legal reckoning becomes another exercise in American inconsistency. Rather than face a lengthy trial, Bhagwan negotiates a settlement. He pleads guilty to 2 counts of immigration fraud, relatively minor charges compared to what Sheila faced. In return, the government drops everything else. A federal judge gives him a 10-year suspended sentence, a $400,000 fine, and orders immediate deportation. He's banned from re-entering the United States for 5 years. Not imprisoned. Banned. November 1985. The guru's remaining followers line the dirt road at Rajneeshpuram one last time to bid him farewell. His face is impassive behind those familiar sunglasses as a limousine speeds him toward the airport. He leaves behind a ghost town. Within months, Rajneeshpuram is officially dissolved as a city. The grand buildings are sold off or abandoned. The infrastructure crumbles. The Oregon desert falls silent once more. Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh will die 4 years later in Pune, India, surrounded by loyal disciples, claiming until his final breath that he was a victim of American religious persecution. Ma and Sheila will outlive him by decades, still running that Swiss care home, still smiling in interviews, still insisting she did nothing wrong. What they built was not merely a cult, it was a blueprint, a step-by-step guide on how to exploit democracy's own tools. Incorporation laws, voter registration, local elections, to seize power from within. They poisoned 751 Americans. They came within a few thousand votes of hijacking an entire Oregon county. They armed themselves like a paramilitary force and surveilled their own compound like a police state. And when it all collapsed, their leader served 0 days in prison. Their chief operative served 29 months. Democracy prevailed. Barely. But here's the question that still haunts investigators decades later. What if Sheila hadn't fled? What if Bhagwan hadn't turned on her publicly? What if the FBI had arrived at that Charlotte tarmac 6 hours later? The Rajneeshis didn't fail because the system worked. They failed because they turned on each other. Next time, they might not. And that time, someone can exploit the system. Someone like John McAfee, who has a crazy story that you can watch clicking here.